All right, everybody. Today we're going to be learning about some basics with the type tool. So the document that you see in front of you is going to be a little bit what yours should look like when we're done. We're basically dealing with the shape tool here, as well as some more advanced tools like the pen tool, and I'm going to show you how to use the shape builder tool, which is a really fun, cool one. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to go to File, New. Let's leave it in the portrait format, and let's do a width of 8 by 12 and click OK. Let's immediately save this. File, Save As. Save this in your print shop or Illustrator folder, whichever you called it, and we're going to call it Basic Shape Tool and click Save. Click OK to this box, and we're ready to get started. All right, so as I said, this is all about the basic shape tool. The basic shape tool is in the drawer that's underneath the type tool. You're going to see that there's a rectangle tool, a rounded rectangle, ellipse, polygon, star, and flare. And you can play with all of these during this lesson, but I'm specifically going to show you the rectangle, the rounded rectangle, ellipse, and the star. If you want to play with the polygon and the flare on your own, that's fine. But let's start with the rectangle tool. To create a rectangle or a square, you simply have to click and drag. So go ahead and do that now. All right, to fill in stroke, you must click on the control bar at the top. You can change your fill, you can change your stroke however you want it. You can make your stroke bigger or smaller. So go ahead and do that now. Add a stroke and a color to a square that you've created with the rectangle tool. Okay, moving on. Now, how do we alter this? To alter it, you simply have to grab the selection tool, and you can drag one of the corners. Now, if you want to click and drag and make it the same exact size without distorting, you hold down the shift as you grab a corner. If not, if you don't care about the distortion, you can grab the corner without the shift key, and I can stretch it and move it the way I want. So stop the video now and try that.
This is JB Pritzker.
All right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to try and create a perfect square. So I want you to grab your rectangle tool, click off in the gray space to deselect this last object, grab your square, and you're going to click and start to drag. And as you do, I want you to hold down the shift key. As you do, it's going to make a perfect square. Shift means perfect. It means add, and it means perfect in Illustrator. So go ahead and do that now. Make a perfect square. If you'd like to change the color of it, you can do that as well.
At Discover, we believe anniversary should be a time of celebration.
Okay, we're going to make some copies of this square. So you've already been shown this once, but as a quick review, the easiest way to make a copy is to grab the selection tool, hold down your Alt key until you get the double-headed arrow. And I want you to drag 1, release, hold down Alt again, 2, and one more, 3. Okay? Now we're going to make some modification to these copies. The first modification that we're going to do is we're going to distort this with the direct selection tool. So go ahead and click on it, grab your direct selection tool, which is the white arrow. To use this, you have to double click on the anchor point that you want to alter. So I'm going to double click on one of the corners, and notice you can pull that in or out so that you're actually distorting, so it's no longer a rectangle, it's a trapezoid of some kind. So go ahead and do that. All right, on our next square, I'm going to show you how to rotate this. So if I wanted to make this a diamond or turn it on its side slightly, I'll move this one over, we're going to need what's called the rotate tool. Rotate tool is in this drawer here with the reflect tool, but I want you to grab the rotate tool, and once you do, all you have to do is click and drag, and notice you can rotate. All right, let's go ahead, and we're actually going to delete that last square. So we've got 4 here, we've got a rectangle, we've got a perfect square, we've got a trapezoid, and now we've got a rotated perfect square. I want to grab a copy of this trapezoid. So click on it to activate it, hold down the Alt key, and I want you to drag a copy of this trapezoid to the far right. Now we're going to reflect this, which means we're going to do a mirror image, and we're going to grab the tool that's in the drawer with the rotate. So if you click on that, I want you to grab the reflect tool, and all you have to do is click and drag, and it will reflect it both horizontally and vertically. So you can do it vertically or horizontally depending on how you drag. So here I'm flipping it up and down. I'm just doing the edit undo, or I can flip it reverse. So you're mirror imaging it, okay? One other way that you can do that, we're gonna do this one more time. Grab on the original trapezoid, let's make another copy, and drag that down. Do that now if you haven't already. You can also open up the transform panel. So let's click and open that one up. And you can flip this in here. You can click and go to flip horizontal or flip vertical. So stop the video and try that now. Okay, so as a quick review, we've learned how to alter with the direct selection, we've learned how to rotate, we've learned how to reflect with the reflect tool, and we've learned how to flip it in the transform panel. If you haven't saved at this point, go to File, Save. All right, we're gonna move on to the ellipse tool. Let's go ahead and click and hold to pull that drawer out, and I wanna grab the ellipse tool. So as a reminder, it works just like the rectangle tool. So if I hold down the shift key, I'm gonna get a perfect circle, but I don't wanna do that. What I want you to do is I want you to do 3 overlapping circles, and I don't care how they overlap. I don't care what their shape or size is. And I do want you to change them so that they're 3 different colors with 3 different strokes. Okay, stop the video if you're not done with that. All right, now that we've got our overlapping circles, a quick reminder, a quick review. If I wanted to change it so I had the circle in the back, all you have to do is click on it, right click, and you can go that send to back, arrange, send to back, so you can change your overlapping. All right, so let's go ahead and stop the video and practice that. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna combine these shapes now into one shape with the Shape Builder tool. And this is a really useful tool in Illustrator because most shapes that you're using for your logos or your posters, whatever you're doing, they're complex shapes. They're not just a simple square or diamond or whatever. They're gonna be a complex combination of these. So in order to combine these, you have to first start by selecting all 3. Okay, you can hold down the Shift key and select all 3 of those shapes, or the easiest way is to simply click and drag to select those 3. So go ahead and select those 3. Now we're going to group them. We're going to go to Object, Group. So now they're one group. And we're going to make a copy of this grouping. So again, hold down that Alt key, and I want you to drag a grouping. Now you do not have to group to use a Shape Builder tool. I just find it a little bit easier. The Shape Builder tool is this tool here. The keyboard shortcut is Shift M, but go ahead and select that tool. The only thing you have to know is you have to have your objects selected before you use this. And then all you're going to do is you're going to click and drag. Notice how it connects those 2 shapes now, and it connects those 2 shapes. Notice it's all going to make it one color though. That's the way this tool works, because now it turns it into one shape. But I can change that color if I want. I can change the stroke if I want. So go ahead and stop the video, try that Shape Builder tool now. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to use this same tool, but we're going to do some cool negative effects. So once you click on the original grouping of 3 ovals, hold down the Alt key, we're going to make a copy. This time, we're going to use the Shape Builder tool, but we're going to do something slightly different. You might need to zoom in first so that you can see where they overlap. So we're going to be focusing on this overlapping area here and here. So with the Shape Builder tool, you're not going to click and drag. So you notice how you have the plus, because if I clicked and drag right now, it would add these shapes together. I don't want it to. Instead, I want to subtract this from this area. So the way you do that is you're going to hold down the Alt key and click, and Alt key and click. Notice now what it did is it used those shapes to delete from the other shape. Go ahead and stop the video and try that now. All right, we're going to try that again. But this time I'm going to show you a slightly different way to do it. I want you to grab the ellipse tool and I want you to make a circle. Now I want you to grab the type tool, set a different color, and I want you to type a letter, any letter. We're going to make this thing really big. And I want you to put it over top of that circle that you just created. Okay? We're going to I'm going to show you how to use this to subtract. So it's just a review of what we've just done. So remember, you have to select both of those. But before you can do that, you have to turn the type into a basic shape. So you have to click on your type, right click, and go to Create Outlines. Now it's a simple shape. Now all I have to do is hold down my Shift key and select the circle that's behind it. And we're going to add it to this. So we can either add or subtract. So I'm going to say, well, I just want to add this and this together. Okay, cool. But I want to subtract this and this. So now I've got this complex, very awkward shape. But I'm just using that shape builder. So stop the video and try that now. All right, we're going to review one more time how to do that. So let's go ahead and grab the ellipse. I want you to make a circle. Click in the gray space to deactivate that. This time, we're going to grab a rectangle tool, change the color, and we're going to click and drag a rectangle that overlaps that circle. Okay? Let's make a quick copy of this. So we're going to do it twice over. So now we've got two. Okay. In the first one, I want you to select both. I want you to use the shape builder, and I want you to click and drag to combine that shape. In the second one, again, this is, oops, I grabbed the other one. This is review again. This time, I want you to subtract the circle, bottom half of the circle, to create this complex shape. Go ahead and stop the video. Try that now. Okay, if you haven't gone to File Save recently, let's go ahead and do that. A couple more tools here to get through. All right, let's go ahead and let's grab the rounded rectangle tool just while we're at it. Just want to show you something real basic with this. So the rounded rectangle tool is a rectangle with rounded corners, and you can increase and decrease as you're dragging. You have to do it as you're dragging. My mouse is still held down. If I hold the up key or down key, you'll notice it changes the severity of how rounded the corners are. So if I hit up, it's going to really round it to the point of being an oval. If I hold the Alt key down, it's going to decrease it. So go ahead and just try that. I want you to create a rounded ellipse. Play around with the arrow keys, increasing and decreasing the amount of that curve on the edge. Stop the video, do that now. All right, now we're back. Go ahead and click in the gray space to deactivate that rounded rectangle tool. I'm going to show you similar effects with some of the other tools, how you can hold down keys to alter the way the shape tool works. Let's go ahead, and I want you to grab, we are going to grab the polygon tool. I wasn't originally going to do that, but that's okay. So the polygon tool, by default, when you click and drag, it's going to have 6 points. But if you want more or less, you use those arrow keys as you click and drag. So if I want less, I can click less. I can go down to 3, which gives me a triangle. That's the lowest it'll go. Or I can keep clicking my up arrow, and it's going to give me up to octagon, pentagon, all of those. So go ahead, and I want you to click and drag, and I want you to create a triangle by hitting the down arrow and then release. I want you to do the same thing again, but this time I want you to hit the up arrow, and I want you to increase it to at least a pentagon shape. All right. Go ahead and stop the video now if you haven't done that. All right, moving on, we're going to go to the star tool. All right, star tool is kind of interesting. It works the same way as the polygon tool. So if I click and drag, if I decrease or if I hit my down arrow on my keyboard, I'm going to get fewer and fewer points to my star. If I hit the up key, and yes, you can go crazy and have a ton of points. So go ahead and try that. Have a little fun with the up and down arrow. All right, now I'm going to show you one other thing that you can do with the star tool. It is a little complex, it gets a little confusing. But if I click and drag, notice it's going to use the same amount of star shapes as I had before, but I want to go down to just a normal 5-point star. And notice as you click and drag, the center points of the star, they keep growing. However, if I want to make the arms and legs of the star longer and thinner, I can stop that inner point simply by holding down the control key. So watch as I do this. So I'm going to click out here. Now I'm going to hold the control, and I'm going to click and drag, and see how the center stopped growing, and now my limbs are the only thing that are growing. So go ahead and try that now. Stop the video and try that now. All right, one thing that you need to know about this is that if I try to use the star tool again, it's going to have that same problem where it's going to be a super skinny star if I made it that way. So what you need to do in order to get rid of that, what's setting on there, the easiest way is to go up to your essentials up at the top and go to reset. So go ahead and do that now. So anytime you monkey with that center point of the star tool, you need to reset your essentials.
It's all you need this fall.
All right, let's go to File, Save.
Only during Clinique Gift at Macy's. Hurry now through October 9th.
All right, just a couple more things, and this is the most complex part of this whole lesson, is the pen tool. The pen tool is in this drawer here. The pen tool works simply by clicking and adding points that the computer will connect. Think of it as like a connect the dots. So let's go in the space over here to the right, and we're going to click 4 times, and I don't care where you click, you're just going to go click, 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 and click, and back to your starting point. So now you can make an irregular shape. All right, so I want to show you a couple things about this. So notice it's connecting with straight points. Now if I wanted to be, how do I move this up? You can add extra points, and that's the add anchor point. So you have to come back over until you get that plus sign, and you'll see where it says path in green, and click. Now you've put an extra point in there. If you grab your direct selection tool, if you activate that point, you can now change that, and you can still change with your direct selection tool. So stop the video now. I want you to work with the pen tool. I want you to add a point and then come back. All right, now I want to show you that you can also use the subtract. So let's say that I don't like this insert here. I don't like the way that's go. If I grab my delete anchor and I come over and I find the anchor, if I click, it's going to get rid of it. Okay, so that's pretty simple. The pen tool's not all that hard to understand if you're doing straight edge geometric shapes. The problem is when you get into organic shapes, and that's what we're going to do the remainder of the time here. So we're going to go back and grab our regular pen tool, and we're going to try to make a sort of an elliptical shape here. But the difference is you can't just click. You have to click and drag, and this takes some experimentation, and some of you are going to be like, I don't like this. This is terrible. I probably will never use this for this, but hey, you've been shown it. So the way this works is if you click and drag. Okay, so I'm clicking, I'm holding down my mouse. I'm getting these what I call handlebars. What they are is they're directional bars, which shows which way the line is going to curve. So I'm clicking up and to the right. That's telling the computer that the line that's going to come from this point should go up and curve to the right. Now this is not a line, this is invisible. This blue line here is not print. It's just a virtual line that shows the direction that this line is going to head. Now I'm going to come over to the right and I'm going to click. So see how it's a curved line, it's not straight. Now from here I've got to drag. I've got to tell that computer which way does the line go as it comes towards this new anchor. I'm like, well, it's going to come down and over. You can move it around. Okay, and this, it takes a little bit of getting used to, right? And then I want to do one more in the center to the bottom, and again, change that. And then in order to connect it, you do need to connect to the center point. All right, so you got this weird round elliptical tool. I'm going to show you how to make some modifications. So click on it. We're going to make some copies, and we're going to move it over one time. All right, here's how we change and move things. You can still use your pen tool. You can add or delete just like you can with the other ones. But we're just going to alter the points that are there, and you do need the direct selection tool. Remember, the white selection tool, the direct selection tool, is when you want to modify a shape that's already there in very specific ways. So we're going to click on one of these points. Notice when you click on it, you get those anchor points. Now I can grab the ends of these handlebars of the directional line, and I can move it. I can twist, I can bend, I can try to modify that. All right, so go ahead and try that. I can even move my point in and around, but go ahead and make some modifications to your elliptical shape. All right, when you are done, go to File, Save. You are officially done with this lesson. However, I would recommend opening up another document and just playing around with any time that you have remaining in class. Try these shape tools if you want to play around with the flare, if you want to play around with some of the other ones, but really get comfortable with using that shape builder tool. I think that you'll find that you like it, that it's going to come in real handy in this next project and any future projects that we're going to be doing in this class. All right, great job. Make sure you save your work before you close today.